I am the big tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, hearts full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big tank.
He served in a few wars. He's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the
Tank. I
tank.
am the tank. Big
Big
tank.
Tank Talk.
Tank.
Big Tank Talk.
Tank. Welcome, my friends, to another episode of Big Tank Talk. The purpose of these interviews that I do is to bring some really amazing creators to the attention of Clapper. Some of you already know him. Some of you may be meeting him for the first time. My friends, welcome Malcolm2.0. Malcolm, welcome to Big Tank Talk.
Glad to be here, my friend. Glad to just interact with you and just have a good chat this afternoon.
And it's an honor to have you here. My first question never changes. Tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be on Clapper.
Clappers, if you really know me, you would know that I came to Clapper a long time ago. I actually have built multiple accounts here, but it's all been original content, via through a clapback or my own original content. I don't use recycled content to get views. But my main thing was to get on Clapper's just basically to show you can just be a regular person as long as you're just willing to share what you want to talk about and not have to do anything crazy, and you can do just fine. You know what I mean? So, and then my daughter, she's right here talking behind me. She's part of my content, my wife, my food. What up, Tim Shady? Wonderful, another creator. How are you, brother? What?
Hey, Tim, good to see you, brother. When I set up my initial group of questions, I didn't put your daughter's name in here by name, but I do have a question here just regarding like your family, but we'll get to that. First question I got to ask, the first videos I saw when reviewing your content. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your dogs. I know you're a dog person.
Hey, okay, it's easier like this. Ham, come here. Come here. Ham, come here. Up here. Vamonos, come here. Come here. Up here. You can see his nose. I don't know if you can see his nose. Come here. Come here.
Welcome in, Tones. Good to see you, brother.
Let's see here. This is Oliver. This is Oliver. This is my wife's Pomchi, whatever. Pomchi, as Harper just corrected me. This was her Christmas present. I like to also call him Oliver Twist, or otherwise known as Old Overtime. He's about 30 hours of overtime. That's what he was to me. That's what his value is to me. He's just a little turd. But now here, Dixie Doo, come here, big girl. This is Dixie. Now this is my old dude. She's very loyal. She's smart. She's a good dog. She's a really good dog.
Awesome.
Hambone, come here. Get in. It's time to get in. Go.
How many dogs do you have altogether, Malcolm?
4.
Four.
That's 4. But I was trying to see if hey Dixie, get down. You know I'm talking to somebody else. You can see I'm talking to somebody else. You see them. Why are you just trying to be rude?
She just likes that attention.
Mm-hmm. She's just a pup.
Yeah,
She's a good pup.
We have two dogs here. We have Red Heeler mix and a Black Lab Boxer mix.
She is our F1 Golden Doodle. Then I have in the floor over here, I have Hambone. I just call him Ham or Hammer because he's just a big goof. He's a Merle Doodle. And then probably under my son's feet because he just really loves my son more than anybody. Is our blue tick hound. We have a blue tick hound also over here on the floor somewhere.
That's
It's like a
awesome.
constant cleaning up after them all the time. I ain't gonna lie to tell. I mean, they're house trained and stuff like that, but my yard is like a mud pit. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
sir.
it's just cleaning up after them all the time. But it's just part of having a dog. Sometimes you got to clean up after them.
And it's worth it. Dogs are awesome parts of the family. Certainly, our dogs are a wonderful part of our family. Um, Another question I wanted to ask: you have a lot of videos showing food. I mean, is it you love food, so you love sharing? Do you do the cooking? Does your wife do the cooking?
No, that's all me. That's all me. I've been. My wife is very picky when it comes to food. She's in the other bedroom. It's easy to say that right now. Harper, my daughter, is very picky when it comes to food. She 100% is. Zach, my son, used to be very picky. He's still pretty picky for food.
Right,
I I have cooked. I've been a manager in a restaurant for a long time, and or in previous life. Let me rephrase that. Not anymore. I work at a distillery now. But I was kitchen manager from time like I was 18 years old for like a decade. Felt like because I'm getting old, now. But so I cooked a lot of stuff. Really learned how to cook a lot of stuff. Grew up on a farm, and grew up dirt ass poor. So
right.
we had to learn how to cook with what I had. So what cook what we had out of the garden. I learned how to cook that. So all the food that you see on my videos is all me. I actually have a mini series that just says part time foodie because it's stuff that I like to show you what it's going to look like on your plate. Because if it looks good, it tastes good. That's 99% rule. It's always been like that. If it looks clean and nice, it's going to taste better. That's everything in life.
Absolutely.
Everything. It's everything. How long have I
So
been on
Paul asks,
Clapper?
how long have you
I've
been on Clapper?
we would
Lost
actually
sound,
say
Malcolm.
you hear me now?
Yes, now I
Can
can
you
hear
hear me
you.
now?
Yes, sir.
Hey, my son's laughing. He's like, "That's a Verizon commercial, son." And I was like, "No, it's not." Um, I don't know really how to answer that, Tank, to be honest, because I had one account that I grew to over 30,000 and had it to blue check and deleted every video there. I mean, never used them again. Never used them again.
Right.
Right. Then I was like, I would do it again, and I used all original content again, and I've done it. So I guess it was 2021, sometime there, April of 2021. I want to say something like that. I could be off a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I
Something like
started
that.
this account that I'm on now in March of 2021. It's my second account. When I first joined Clapper in 2020, my content was almost all political. And then Clapper changed what they
Oh,
considered.
I mean, hey, I'm talking right now. I really can't even go outside. Sorry. No, move. So come up here and get down. Sorry.
You've
My
gone
nephews
robotic
are.
on us, Malcolm. Are you still there?
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the dog was trying to cause in too much background. Um, I'm sorry. What were we saying before he interrupted me?
You had responded to me saying that when I started in 2020, my content was almost all political. And then they took a lot of my videos down and banned my account, so I had to start another one in March 2021.
Do you remember, because in the original, the reason they did that, do you remember in Clapper's original content was news and reviews when Edison
Yep.
really started it out, and his main focus, here's my son, Zachary.
How you doing, Zachary?
Their main thing with Clapper was going to be news and reviews. And their main tool to use on Clapper, which a lot of people just did not get it because they were trying to use it just like other platforms, than what Clapper intended for it to be was like, say you posted your political content, which I remember you did, and like, say I was supposed to, and what I would do is do a clapback of your content, sharing your content, and they wanted us to
Right.
review your content. That was the main thing. Whenever I was in the one of the original beta test groups, see, I'm was moderator for like their two groups, like for a while, like in the beginning, doing those and stuff. Whenever it was just Beta and Josh and everyone there. I mean, it
Right.
was fun back then, you know. But uh, a lot of the things I think Clapper fell short on is like explaining their app in the beginning, or they could have done a lot better. Their transition and their growing pains of Clapper would have been a lot easier for them to understand and grow from, but they just didn't take that approach in the very beginning. But it's when they just had a lot of youthful people running Clapper.
Right.
My family, that's without question. That's without question. I'm so thankful and happy with my family. That's my biggest achievement. Probably will always be my biggest achievement is saying that I have 6 children, all are healthy. My oldest is 25. My next one's fixing
We lost you again.
18, and then my 7-year-old. By far, my biggest achievement. I'm always proud of is my family. My wife, I love my wife. It's unreal.
Which leads me into a question. One of the questions I wrote down when I was going through your content. You have several videos showing your kids playing, and the point of those was making memories. You put a lot of stock in that, not just for you but for your kids, don't you?
The way I look at it is, in this day and time, this is my way of doing a what we consider a picture album. You know what I mean? Um,
Yep.
we all, as young men, children, we sat at a couch, probably this same wonderful, majestic color behind me that I'm sitting on, with our grandparents or our parents or our cousins, and look at that when we did this, yada yada. And I remember just flashbacking this dumb shit I would do as a kid. And we had pictures of it, you know, of our pictures of Sunday dinners and such, things like that, family reunions. You don't get that as much anymore, but you can get these. I can give my kids these real instances that I love. You know, stuff that I'm telling you, like my series on thoughts of the day. I hope my children have the want to go say, what did my old man say?
Right.
That's what I hope for. If you want that vanity answer,
Yeah.
but it's not that. It's just I want to be able to tear up and cry just like an old man and say, man, I hope my kids care enough to pay attention just a little bit to me. That's all I'm asking for.
I tell
Honesty.
you what I particularly like about that, and I'll include your thoughts today on that, because as kids we don't know this. We don't know that we're really paying attention to what our parents say until we hear ourselves saying it as adults. You know what I mean? So I get that, and what you're doing, whether knowingly or just because it's what you do, you're leaving a legacy for your kids. And I think that's a pretty amazing thing. If you see my content, you know I do a lot with my family as well.
Oh, for sure. My son's long hair. He was sitting here trying to see if he could dangle it over to the camera. He couldn't quite do it. He's got a big old head. I don't understand how he couldn't. Come here.
Hey, hey,
Come
have him
on.
look at your phone a minute so I can show him my beautiful hairdo.
Well, he won't now. He's already. He's like that 15-second attention span. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have
There's
long.
my baby.
I
Come
don't
here,
have
buddy.
all that hair like you do, as you can see.
Oh, dude. You think I got hair? Look at this. This is no hair. There's no hair.
No,
There's no hair.
this is no hair.
This, look, Tank, right here. Whenever I was 12 years old, I had a motorcycle versus four-wheeler accident, and a
Oh
rock
wow.
stuck in my head right here, for real, right here, just like a triangle, and that spot's never going hair back. Even if you wanted it to, it's like no, ain't gonna happen. So and it's running back and running crazy everywhere. My wife says no, I can't shave it though. She says no, so I just do a high and tight cut. The beard, truth be told, now this is one for you. This is one for you, Tank. And because I can't have that beard like you got. If she wants that rage Viking beard, she won't let me
Uh
do it. True story. True story. She won't let me do it. She don't like it. She don't like that out of control rage beard Viking look. I thought
right.
maybe I could try to pull that off one time, but wasn't going to happen.
You know, my beard probably looks out of control, but I comb it regularly. I use beard oil. I use beard balm. I get it. I go to the barber to trim it up and everything.
Do you see this though? You see all
Yeah.
this white right here, right? True story. You can look at my content to prove it. And I swear to anybody that wants to take the time to look at my content, I got something and this would not grow right here where this is all white. True story, Tank. This would not grow. So I shaved all this off. It was all gone. And I did content with no beard but one day Amy said, why don't you just see if it'll come back? It all came back white, but it all
Wow.
came back. Isn't that
Now, see, that's
crazy?
what I want. That white you have, I want my entire beard to be that white.
Yeah, but see, this is all brown here or blackish. This is all whateverish. And then this is right here just came back this color right here. But I don't dye nothing. I won't color nothing. So it just
Well,
is what it is.
and the look works for you anyway. Another question that came up while I was browsing your content. You showed a gentleman who was testing burners for a hot air balloon. You ever actually go hot air ballooning?
Oh yeah, yeah. I sure I have. Actually, if you look back in my content, a lot further back in my content, usually like I said, I look like a Wish Vin Diesel because I had no beard or anything, and when my hair's cut really short, it looks like I don't have any hair most of the time, but I do. Um, but I actually crewed for a hot air balloon. It's What's Up Ballooning. It's in Jefferson City, Tennessee. I did that because the B Man Jay introduced me, because from here on Clapper, he introduced me to Ray and Marianne that run that What's Up Ballooning and said, hey, you want to go ahead and
Right.
do some content and crew for this hot air balloon? They'll pay you just to come out and help them set the balloon up. And I was like, heck yeah, absolutely. So I did a lot of hot air balloon content there. And a couple times like, hey, we just need somebody to ride along, you know? So you jump in, you see I've got a couple of videos where we flew over and I did a live over a zinc mine, and then one where I was just showing around the sky and stuff.
So Paul wants to know who's one of your favorite content creators, whether they're still on here or not.
I missed what you said, Tank.
Paul, Fear the Reaper. Paul wants to know who's one of your favorite content creators, whether they're on here or not.
The great thing, Paul, I can tell you is that this is like my home. I don't do TikTok. I don't do Facebook that much, which I've had some content go pretty viral on Facebook, but it was just pretty well just videos of like the distillery during our flooding and stuff. But there's been some really good, some of my favorite creators on here. John from J Dub's Arts is probably one of my favorite creators. He's like a brother here to me. We've done a lot of lives back in the day. We sold a lot of content together as far as his artwork and such. Helped his family. They've actually came here and visited me and my family. John's came here, so I think he's probably one of my favorite creators. Leah's right there up there. A lot of lives back in the day. We sold a lot of content together as far as his artwork and such. Helped his family. They've actually came here and visited me and my family. John's came here, so I think he's probably one of my favorite creators. Leah's right there up there on my list of favorite creators. Um, her and I have talked and discussed her content, different like views on all kinds of different things for a long time as well. I fully expect to see her not too long from now. Kiki Queenager, I think, even though someone supposedly got her name now, she's a really good friend of mine. We have talked a long, long time.
Kiki is awesome. So is Leah. Leah is one of the few clapper creators I've actually talked to on the phone.
Mm-hmm. I've talked to so many on the phone. I've actually, if you hear Jeff, ASE card guy Jeff talk, he will tell you that I helped him start the DIY show, which I'd like to take about 2% of that because I just sort of put it in their heads that I thought they were great creators and people need to see them. I consider myself a facilitator for creators, an encourager for creators to understand that they have worth, even if it's a worth of one. One person needs to see you, and that's all that matters. And if that should drive you to create things, if you just some people think they have to emulate people. I just don't. I don't mean that you have to be full of haterade either. Hey, Ham, be quiet, Bubba. Come here. Come here. This is my Merle Doodle. He's he's a little over a year old. He's a really big dog. He just really likes attention. I think he's got to use a bathroom. Zach, would you possibly take him to the bathroom? Yeah. All right, Zach's gonna take you out. Okay, go, Bubba, go.
Well, I have to tell you, Malcolm, you are one of my favorite clapper creators. I love the content. I love your originality. I really love your thought of the day.
Dude, that really means a lot to me because the thought of the day means something to me. Truthfully, there's a lot on my content that just was me talking to me. If you want me to be honest, thank you, Tina. I really appreciate that, Tina. You are a absolutely iconic artist, and I mean that in the best way. I am blown away with what you start with and what you end up with.
Right?
I have no lies to tell. I really
I'll
have
take
no
that one
lies to
step.
tell. It's
I'll take
just
that
like,
one step further, Malcolm. Not only is her artwork phenomenal, I think her videos are a work of art in themselves. Tina has outstanding content, even before she actually gets
I
to
agree.
revealing her artwork.
I agree. See, Tina is one of the people to me. Like, see, I don't edit any of my videos. Be the first one to tell you what you see from me, and what I give you is me. There's no filters. There's no every sound that you see on my videos is from Clapper. I'm what you would call a Clapper purist. I don't do CapCut. I don't do any editing that I don't do just as given to me from my phone and what's given to me from Clapper. That's why I don't get any glitches like most other people do. But back to what I was saying about Tina's content is it's a story within a visual effect. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh yeah.
the editing that's involved, but the raw talent, it's just raw, unmitigated talent is just mind blowing. The art that's here on Clapper is unreal, and I'm just a country bumpkin, but my goodness, my goodness, it's unreal.
You probably never know it, Malcolm, but I was born in the Great Smoky Mountains, and a lot of my heritage is hillbilly, for lack of a better word. But I am such a huge fan of the art community here on here. Not just Tina, but J Dubs and Callie Simca, Daisy. The only piece of artwork I own from all these phenomenal artists I got from Daisy, and she did a drawing of Lizzie, who is 11. She's my girlfriend's daughter, and I gave it to my girlfriend as a Christmas gift. I would love to own at least one piece of art from every member of the
What
artist
the?
community. I just
I'm
can't. I don't
sorry,
have the money.
someone's being an ass. What is that? What are you running? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were just doing something like be an asshole. I'm sorry, Tank. Amy was
I'm just
using the
saying
blender that I just got her, so I'd apologize.
that's okay. I live on
Oh, dude,
disability, so I don't have the money to get a piece of artwork from all these amazing artists. But I would love to have at least one piece of artwork from Tina, from J Dubs, and I will own something from J Dubs eventually. I love J Dubs, and he is one of the reasons I actually sing on Clapper now. He encouraged me to get out of my comfort zone a bit,
yeah,
and I am
because
very grateful to him. Now
you
I
want
did
me
have
to tell
another
you a story
another.
about John? Oh, go ahead. By all means.
No, go ahead, tell the story, and then I got a question for you. It's related to another video you did.
Well, John and I met. John and I met under weird circumstances. You know, when I come on Clapper, he had about 7,000 followers. I didn't have any so much, but there was different people here on Clapper that would go in live and stuff and talking. What? Why didn't you use a smaller cup, honey? Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Yes, Tim, Esther is
She's toying
amazing.
with her new blender. Anyway, I apologize. I digress.
No problem.
J Dubs and
Hey,
I met,
Harper.
and then we started doing lives together. And he was selling art and stuff. And he, we just became really good friends. And I told him, I was like, man, you would have so many more damn followers if you just wasn't such an asshole. He was a bit of an asshole when he first come on Clapper.
Hmm.
And he just didn't know how to take that from me at the time. He thought, man, this is just a jughead guy and he didn't even realize I was 5 foot nothing. He just didn't realize, he didn't, but and he's a tall fella. He's a big fella. We've met each other. I could, if we had to, I would definitely just go right from the wham, right in the nuts to take him down. But, but I don't think we'd ever have to do that. But I was like, man, if you were just a nicer, less grumpy guy, man, people will gravitate to you because you're talented. And then we just started talking, and he started softening up, and he became just a big teddy bear and just a really funny ass dude. And he started hosting the karaoke. And yes,
Yeah,
baby,
I was going to say it's something a lot of the newer folks on here don't know is that J Dubs can sing.
he can sing. He can
Yes, he
sing.
can.
He can act. He's a natural goofball, but man, he's a smart. He's a smart marketing guy too, for sure. Yes.
Oh yeah. Now
You pick it, baby. Yes, sir.
the question I want to ask, you showed a video of this fella sitting. He's holding his little spool of wire, and there's just a little bit of wire left on it. And apparently, it's his wife comes out, and he's got tears in his eyes, and he's relating to her how he's had a spool of wire for 40 years. and you can tell, it's not just the spool of wire; it's the 40 years of memories and the stuff that reaches him. And I think the point of that video was
What are
how
you doing,
important it is
Morgan?
actually to listen to each other. Because her comment was, "Well, you're wearing that Jets hat, and I thought that's what you were crying about." So clearly, she wasn't listening to definitely not hearing what he was saying.
That Tank honestly was probably that particular video should be watched by more people. That particular video should be watched by uh, couples in therapy and people. It,
Welcome in,
it should
Grace.
be echoed by couples that need to learn communication. That video should be watched by men that have anger issues and want to try to communicate something to someone that's naturally narcissistic and are consumed by their own thoughts of want to belittle someone to make themselves feel better, but try to use humor and say they're joking as a defense mechanism.
Right.
That's what that video showed. Me personally, I'm extremely thankful for my wife that she will listen to me and we listen to each other. Um, and she may not understand me. She may not understand the dumb or overly words I use sometimes, Tank, but she still listens to me. And
Right.
I try my best to listen to her the same way. And I in that video, I just feel like that wire was everything to that man as far as like he remembers whenever he bought that from the old hardware store that ain't even open anymore, and it only cost like $2.99 for that roll of wire, and now you can't get a third of that for any of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Um,
I do.
and it's rough whenever you have that a narcissistic, one-sided, uh, power hungry relationship. It doesn't matter how wonderful you can sit here and feel like you are going to show this world that, dude, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. When you're crying on the inside to sit here and say, I just wish somebody really understood what it's like to try to feel like a manservant, but still feel like you are the man of the house.
Yep. That video really reached me, Malcolm, because I was married to a narcissist for 10 years. And you can't, it doesn't matter what you do, they don't change who they are. So the best thing I ever did was divorcing her. And I consider that a blessing. Every day I'm thankful for that. And as bad as that is to say, because she's the mother of my two daughters, but I don't even know if I'd still be living if I still had to be married to her. It's a bad way to say it, but I can't think of any other way.
No. Here's the thing about that, though, Tank. You figured out a way to make it to where it's not the situation that you're in any longer. You grew
Right.
from it. I was in a similar situation, and that's about what I'd like to say about that is. But I would like to say that former relationship I feel like was fully what caused me to have my stroke. I had a stroke when I was 29, a debilitating stroke where I had a really bad speech impediment. My family now doesn't really know me as that person because I was pretty well able to speak pretty well. Which I try to do, I still will
You're
stay.
freezing up. Okay. You're back. You froze up for a moment. It's okay. Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay.
I think, and I wouldn't change having been married to a narcissist for 10 years. I think I understand battered women who are in abusive relationships so much better. I know I know what keeps you in a relationship that's not healthy for you because I've been there. If I get nothing else from it, I get understanding I would never had otherwise.
Oh, I agree with that
So
100%. 100%. Actually, I slept on, can tell you wholeheartedly, I slept on a couch for over a year just so I could stay in the same house with my children because that's what was important to me. And I would not settle for anything less than 50%, you know,
right.
until I could get that squared away. That's how it was going to be. So,
You know what finally encouraged me to end that bad marriage wasn't what I was going through with her. It was the fact that I was teaching my children that this is a normal relationship, and I didn't want that.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I don't have any lies to tell either, though. The first night that I was away from my children and I couldn't check on them in the middle of the night,
Wasn't that
I
terrible?
cried like a baby I
Oh
cried
hell
like
yeah!
a baby the
Trust me,
entire night.
I definitely get it. And
I
when I divorced my ex-wife and I left the house, my kids were 4 years old and 8 years old.
you know,
Now,
that's terrible.
not that we couldn't do a whole hour just on this topic, but I want to kind of shift gears a minute. Now you've mentioned, and you also mentioned it in your content. You're originally a Clapper person. You're not a TikTok reject or whatever they call it, refugee.
Nope.
You are a Clapper original, and you do have a series of videos in which you're offering people suggestions on how they can succeed and grow on Clapper. What do you find has worked the best? Because you've run your account more than once.
I can tell you easily ways for people to grow on Clapper. I, I have no lies to tell, Tank. It's really, it's mind blowing to me, honestly, how people get so bent with one another trying to give ways to grow on Clapper, and they always compare it to other platforms. And I can tell you, to prove ways to grow on.
You'll be back in a second, yo.
Can you hear me now?
I think you're back now.
Okay. So I've showed people over and over, time and time again, how to grow on Clapper. The easiest way to grow on Clapper is through the clapback. Uh, the way is, Tim, you could definitely get better internet. And I think it's because the windstorm that came through. Is our Wi-Fi even on, honey? I don't even know if the Wi-Fi is on, Tim. To be honest, Amy says she's using it, but she's not sure she's using it. It's bad windy here. It's really bad windy here. But clapback's always the easy way to grow on Clapper. But you can sit here and just find ones that are trending, interacting content back and forth. Things like that. Um, it's so easy. It's easy to grow here if that's all you care about is growing. You can use other content and grow super quick. I mean,
Right.
I've watched creators that used to do original content. They used to do original content. Okay. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this as best I can. Okay. They used to do original content. It did not get any traction. I explained to them if they just used what was trending and how they could use just snippets of it, and now they have over 300,000 followers.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you. Thank you. They have over 300,000 followers. Now, I'm not taking anything away from that creator at all. Okay. They used to exactly what they intended to do is get followers so they would have a bigger voice for different radios and such and things like that. So they knew exactly what they were doing. You know what I mean? Other creators, not so much. They just they want to be an echo for someone else and not ever stand on any original content. But like I told you in the beginning, Tim, or Tank rather, I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is like my picture book. This is like my picture book for my kids and me, and just to talk and just have a good time. Hopefully, do something meaningful.
Well, I will tell you, Malcolm, the content I post because I live by it. That's why my message is always positive. I
Oh, yeah.
because I had a stroke at the end of 2021 and spent a month in the hospital before they let me go back home. And I realized how much of a blessing it is just to wake up every day.
Yes, sir.
And I want with all my heart for people to learn what a blessing it is just to be here, no matter what you're going to be 62 in April. No, when you look at all the things that I've gone through, and I survived it all.
Right.
So, and the stuff that I post, the content that I make on here, the radios that I'm in, or the lives that I do. Like my younger daughter, she's 22, is on Clapper. She doesn't come often, but she joined to come into my Tuesday night lives when I do karaoke. There is no, the point of that. There is nothing I do on Clapper that I would say I don't want my kids to see this. I would love for my kids to see it.
You know, here's the way I stand on that too. My oldest daughter's here on Clapper. She usually comes in if I'm live. But also, I know what I've done, and I know what kind of content I have, know what kind of content I have had on other situations, you know. But that's just things like I don't define who you are.
Right.
What is still That's my thing too. Is my thing was it didn't even matter. It don't matter what kind of it just was just for good conversation 9 times out of 10. Some people just I fully enjoy like maybe in meeting someone that we may not have the same kind of they may have a misconception about me and then actually getting to talk to them and trying to just talk in general. I really, really enjoy that about clappers, really getting to know people, like yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I've come to meet some really, really wonderful people. And Big Tank Talk as an interview thing, I've interviewed some amazing people, including J Dubs, by the way. And it's opened my world up in ways that I never would have thought about before coming to Clapper. I don't consider myself particularly astute student of art, but I know what looks good to me. I have no problem
Exactly
letting
right.
people know that I appreciate their efforts. I think
That's
one of the,
exactly right.
like for example, I think one of the least appreciated artists on Clapper is Callie Simcard. I think her work is absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, dude. Dude, the detail that Callie has it's phenomenal. Just like doing the oranges. The one picture for the like fine art, the that one it's snowing, Harper said. Um that one entry was freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I tell you, she's an amazing artist. Mike Nizzi is an amazing artist. Crispy is an amazing artist. Tattoo artist
Absolutely. I
also,
agree.
by the way. He's awesome, the creator. Emma Hunt is a really, really good artist. She sits there. She's hard on herself for no good reason because she's a great artist.
One
There's
thing I've
some
learned
there.
about artists, though, or anybody creative, whether they be musically inclined, artistically inclined, whatever, No, they're all to a person that I've met. Their own worst critics.
I tell you, probably there's no one like that too. Is my wife. My wife can sit here, and this is no joke, and I'm not saying this. I mean, I would tell you this, and anybody that knows me, I'll tell you that I've said this for a long time. Is she can sit here and just do poem after poem after poem, and just has amazing poetry, and just gets so self conscious about it, but it's freaking amazing poet that she knows it. She just don't want to show it. Um, and then Harper, my daughter, she's she's a shithead and an asshole, but I love her so much, and she's a good artist too. Um, but she's right now playing Fortnite. She's a little butthole with
I
it.
don't
Yes, she is. She's a
I
little
don't know if you
butthole.
know it. I don't know if you know it, Malcolm. I wrote and self-published a poetry book 2 years ago. I published it 2 years ago. I wrote it when I was in my
That's
40s.
awesome.
And the
That
very
is freaking awesome.
first time I ever read a poem on Clapper was during J Dub's live.
Whenever we used to do the karaoke, and I kept on telling him everybody can't sing, and then we just started telling him to do other stuff too. Something stinks. That stinks. That food stinks, Tank. Food stinks. Whatever. It's some tuna that don't smell fresh. That's for sure. It just don't smell good.
Well, I'm glad it doesn't come through the phone.
Yeah, you don't want smell-o-vision right now.
Now, uh, I'll ask, what's the scariest thing you've ever experienced?
I was trying to think of that. I was honestly trying to think of that and trying to think of a really uh, legit answer. Um, and
I know what the scariest experience I ever had was.
I don't. I just don't have a like a really scary time. I mean, I've had car accidents. I've had motorcycle accidents. Things have happened on my job, like other former jobs that some people might think might be scary that I just don't so much. So I don't really know. True, and now as an older man, probably the things that scare me now is uh, not being able to have what I have with my family. That's the scariest thing to me. But I've not really. Hopefully, I'll never experience that. Is what I'm trying to say. I just don't know how to
I
really
can
answer that
say
intelligibly.
I can say with no question the scariest experience I ever had was going through having the stroke before I got to the hospital because it hit. I had a cerebellar stroke. It hit me when we were at an Asian buffet having dinner, and Tabby and my daughter Olivia had to try to get my fat ass to the bathroom, and I was not controlling myself, and that was not an easy task for them to do, but they did it.
Very welcome, Paul. The stroke for me, Tank. I was driving down the interstate and I could just feel the tightening in my chest and just tightening overall. And I was just coming up and I was just sitting here like this and just grabbing a hold of the steering wheel like to the inner side. And I just got over to the uh, rest stop in Greene County, Tennessee. And we took an ambulance from there to Laughlin Memorial Hospital. And but still, that just isn't. I don't know that was. I guess not being able to talk was pretty scary because I'm nothing but a blabbermouth now. Yeah, ask any of my kids, ask anybody, especially my son. He's giving me the face like you ain't right. But I couldn't talk for a long time, and he knows that. He's just being an asshole, as I love him.
I guess the best thing about having the cerebellar stroke, first, it only hits about 2% of the people that have a stroke, but there was no one side paralysis. It didn't affect my Um, it didn't affect my speech at all. It didn't affect my ability to think and to but it was physical. It took me that month I was in the hospital. Most of that time I was learning to walk, climb stairs, get in and out of a car, the stuff we do every day. And I had to show them that I could do it to their satisfaction before they'd let me leave.
Mine was I couldn't talk. A really bad speech impediment, super bad stutter, um, and that was the biggest part of it. And that was a challenge because like I said, I pride myself on being able to talk to anybody, just because it's just how I was raised, and
Right.
not be able to do that, and then you lose that certain amount of impression upon people. They feel sorry for you, and I hated that. I hated that. I didn't want anybody to feel sorry for me. It was just something that happened. It wasn't. I mean, and then I still don't. I still don't. It's just something that happened. I mean,
Right.
I don't take medicine and stuff now. It's just something that happened, and that was a
Yeah.
challenge. That was a
I'm, th-
mental
I'm,
challenge for sure.
I'm just a little over 3 years out of my stroke. I still take blood thinners for it. Yeah. I guess the biggest blessing for me out of that when I saw my neurologist three months after the stroke, he said if he didn't know looking at my record I'd had a stroke, he could never tell.
The Merle Doodle. Sorry.
No problem.
Back to back. He's like trying biting my arm.
That's that's a follow for follow thing. That's going to get you removed out of this
I
live.
know.
Don't do it again.
Oh, it's funny. People get. I just. I think it's funny where people come over and it's just it's it's not even a big thing, you know.
Good to see you,
Look at
Tim.
this look at this young man with this wonderful beard, with this immaculate. This I tell you what, you want to talk about someone that has like charisma, because I don't like using like riz and that crap, because kids use like big words and stuff, and then people say when they can't pronounce full words like charisma or even spell it all the way, so they say something they can spell like riz. But dude, that guy has it. That Tim fella, he's just like
Yeah, he
me.
does.
That he's a Canadian, like, connoisseur of creating and nonsense, and he doesn't get offended. I like that about him. I like that about Lazenby a lot. I like that he stays positive. Um, I like
He
that.
does.
I also like that he likes to put you. He
Hey,
knows how to
man.
create content. Mandy, now that Mandy, that she is something else. You gotta watch her. I've known her since she was like wee tall on Clapper, and then she just went boom, because she's a crazy awesome comedian, and a great
And
supporter of
very funny.
family and
She's definitely
friends.
very funny.
Oh, she is so original funny though, original funny, and she's been doing it a long time, and it's not a stagnant kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, I've been a
Uh,
fan of Handy
I
Mandy
just
for a long time.
the thing about it is like, she's one of the ones just like Tim. I wouldn't be afraid to be in a deep water conversation with those folks. Talk all the stuff about being funny and comical. There's depth with these people. There's difference. There's depth. There's understanding of the world beyond their concept of the world. It's like they understand that other people have a different concept of the world. It matters in a
Malcolm,
real conversation.
you might find it interesting to know that both Tim Lazenby and Handy Mandy are scheduled to be interviewed by Big Tank Talk.
Oh, I was hoping so. Mandy, man, I tell you, some of the stuff that would be funny is like, we used to have some really cool radios and stuff where people come in and hang out for a long time. You remember those, Tank? Some
Yes.
really. I wish we were that. The world begins and ends with God. If you grasp that, everything else falls into place. Agree. If you grasp that others' grasp is not, I would compare it to some that have like dishwashing liquid on their hands. They're slipping into it. They're getting there. It's still just a little greasy for them, but it's more that they just polish it along. They're going to get there. And I'm one too, because I need to get there. I need to get there farther than more than most, less than some, but still traveling the path. And I hope we all travel it together. But man, I tell you, Tim Lazenby, he's a fresh sight here on Clapper, for real. Watching him grow fast and with great original content. Tim's,
I'm,
he's a good one. Mandy's
I'm
a
older
great
than
person, just continues to grow.
I'm older than Tim, but I tell him all the time that I want to be like him when I grow up.
You know, um, I feel like Tim, Tim, I like the fact that he likes to say that he's just a schmuck, because I agree, he's a schmuck. Because he's funny. He's funny as hell.
Yeah,
He's got great content, but it's with understanding too that people will blatantly try to be dismissive of his content because he's trying to shine light on people instead of cast shade. And not to
right.
say anything about my brother Tim Shady, because Tim Shady lifts everybody up, and we know that. It is
Yeah,
strawberry
Tim,
schmuckers for sure.
Tim,
For sure,
Tim,
he don't have that at
Tim
all.
Lazenby has a really wonderful way of expressing himself too. I love seeing his videos. And the numbers bear it out. Everybody loves seeing his videos, and I love him. He's a great guy. He's one of my favorites here on Clapper.
I like the fact that he doesn't get offended when people. He understands the way content creation works. That's what I like. Mandy does too. Man, understands real creator understanding is hard to find sometimes. A lot of people are just echoes of other creators, and they just try to do it better. Then you get creators that understand who they are as creators, and they thrive as creators because they understand how content creation works. See,
Right.
Tim understands that how to get people to interact with by just being non-controversial, but yet controversial way. It's pretty funny. Mandy, she is like one of these people that she can bring it to you really serious just to make you laugh at the end, or be just an
Right.
ass and funny just straight off the rip. Either way, it's great
Yeah.
people. I'm glad to know them both.
I like to describe my content in this way. I'm not a particularly creative person, but I have a style that's all me. And
I'm not a creative person.
the most creative I've been on Clappers in the almost 5 years I've been here was during the challenge where with Alice in Wonderland stuff. That
Yeah,
challenge hit all of them.
that was cool. I know. I know. I watched them all. They were good too. That was awesome.
Well, I appreciate that, Mandy. If I could,
He definitely.
before I wrap this up, Malcolm, I want to announce next week on the 23rd, if he's up to it, my scheduled interview is with SFX Robert. I know he's recently had a cancer diagnosis, and if he's not up to being interviewed, then we're not going to ask him to do it. But I will let that be his choice. If he's up for it, I'd love to. He's somebody else I've been a fan of for a while, and I'm looking forward to talking to him and presenting him to the rest of Clapper, especially with so many new people. That's one of the reasons I like to do this. Malcolm, I could sit and talk with you for hours, brother. You're so easy to talk to. I love your content, um, and I'll probably go back and watch some of your even older videos. I heard
I really
his
appreciate
surgery,
that.
but like I said, I'll ask him.
Robert's doing. Robert actually lives in, he lives in Tennessee also. He lives in West Tennessee. I thought he hadn't had his surgery yet. I thought it was just
Right.
scheduled. I'm not sure. But
Yeah, I heard it's scheduled. I thought it was scheduled for the 4th of March.
I know I know he's trying to just do other things, with the training the boys and everything else. I know he's definitely in our thoughts and prayers for sure. Uh,
Absolutely.
he's very, very talented creator, just overall great guy as well. But I really, Tank, thank you very much for this opportunity just to hang out and just, chat it up with you. I'll be glad to talk to you anytime. Just, guys, thank you for
Appreciate
hanging out
that.
with us today. I'm just a regular old me, and just, I wouldn't claim of any talent of any kind other than just a maybe appreciator of other creators. And there's
Hey,
like an
JQ,
awesome
how are
creator that
you?
just came in,
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about great creators that came in. This kid, she's freaking awesome. Emma and, Cassiel, man, those are
Oh,
just a
yeah.
great family right there.
I want to say before I wrap it up, I don't do these interviews specifically for me, although I do get a lot out of them. Plus, getting to meet so many great creators. I do this to present the people that I love and respect to the rest of Clapper, because even if you're a big creator, there's still so many people you haven't reached. That's why I invite the people I invite to be interviewed, and I am always thrilled when you take the time. And Malcolm, you're no different. I'm absolutely honored and thrilled that you took the time to let me ask you a few questions today.
It's been absolutely my pleasure. Like I say, we just like to hang out. We used to go live all the time. We're going to try to go live a little more now that schedules are sort of acclimated back on, kind of things. But I really look forward to seeing the Tank Talk lives. I really do appreciate your content. I appreciate what you're doing for us as Clapper connoisseurs. But not last but not least, Nealon had to come into the fray. My blue tick hound, he had to come and
There
say
he is.
hello. J
That's a
Dubs
good looking
actually
dog, Malcolm.
he put his hat on Nealon's head, and Nealon sat with him and had a good talk with him. They just had a good time. This is Nealon. I figured I'd leave you with that, Tank, my blue tick hound.
I appreciate that, Malcolm. This has
JQ,
been
that's
an
been an
absolute
awesome
thrill for
thing.
me. My friends, join me again 3 o'clock Central Standard Time next week for the next episode of Big Tank Talk. Until then, everyone have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful week.